Hey guys, David here and Judy with Digital Outlook. And today, guys, we did an amazing interview with Jake Claver. The only problem is this, my part got glitched out. So today, you're going to get Judy's part, which was absolutely fabulous. She did an amazing job. Lots of powerful information in there that you're going to want to hear. And guys, later on, perhaps next week or the week after, we'll get that part with Jake Claver that I did re-recorded. But guys, I sure hope you enjoy what we have for you today. So I'll tell you what, without further ado, why don't we get to it?
Well, Jake, I'm really excited to ask you some questions. My section is more for the average Joe or Jane who is not a business person as of yet. They are holding 5,000 perhaps XRP to 70,000, 45, somewhere in that range. And a lot of times people, when they're interviewed, it's for the businessman, and the people who don't have that are thinking, well, I don't need this. It's not important to me.
Right.
But I know that you have a lot of suggestions and things that you could add. The first, how I want to start my section is at the conference, you said something that was so profound to me. I haven't forgot it. And I'm probably going to put this as our thumbnail. But you said, if you own XRP, and you finish the sentence, and I want to know, why did you say that?
That you're already wealthy.
Yes.
Well, in my mind, so I woke up every day for about 2.5 years, and I'm always hesitant to believe in get rich quick schemes.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that I've ever found that wasn't right. Somebody was propagating something, and they were making the money, and they were rugging people later on. And there's never been anything that you could just put your money into and you would see the type of returns that I've come to believe are going to happen for this deal. So with that, I've done the due diligence. I've looked at the Ripple. I've looked at the network. I'm integrated. I have discussions with people that, are dealing with this technology on a daily basis and building the systems of the future and how it's going to be integrated. And none of them have ever told me I'm wrong. They have NDAs in place, and they can't say certain things.
Right.
But the vibe I get is I'm still right. And then I woke up again, like I said, every day for 2.5 years trying to figure out how I was wrong on this and disprove myself, because anything that's ever promised this type of return has been a joke. It's been wrong. Somebody's gotten screwed and messed up. So for me, and as soon as I came to the realization that's when I started my journey on preparing for this liquidity event, when I decided, okay, I'm right. All right, well, that's a foregone conclusion now, or foregone conclusion. Now I need to prepare for this. When this happens, I need to be ready. And so I think I said that so that I would kind of just drive that home for people, so that maybe they would get over that hump that I had to get over myself, and start preparing and just know that it's going to happen. It's just a win.
So basically, for all of you out there, for our viewers, if you have 5,000 XRP or more, you're already going to be rich. Rich meaning that you are going to have more money than you probably have ever had before in your life. Wouldn't that be fair to say, Jake, that if you see the appreciation, we're going to see the average person out there who thinks, oh, I only own 5,000 XRP. We see that on our comments a lot. And then some people laugh at them, and we just want to encourage them. Don't laugh at small beginnings, because it's going to change your life.
Everybody starts somewhere, right? And some people don't have a whole lot extra that they can throw at this. Some people have their life savings in it. And I'm normally not one to recommend that much risk on something, just because, my financial background and the people that I deal with. But I like asymmetric bets. And this is for sure an asymmetric bet. It's really going to come down to how long you're willing to hold off on gratification. And that's going to build one of those traits that I talked about earlier in the podcast that you need to become the person that has wealth. People that are willing to forego today and invest and plant seeds are the people that have stuff tomorrow. And if you're always in it for the quick buck, then you're not going to make it. So it's the long-term price appreciation of this. And when I say long-term, I'm talking 10 years. Okay. So 2023, 2033, I think you're looking at a lot of money if you're holding 5,000 XRP at that point and you haven't sold any. I mean, look at the people that held Bitcoin for a decade, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you have to be willing to wait though.
Mhm.
Okay. And hopefully we get the loans done and you can hold it with PolySign and we can take leverage against it and you can enjoy all the wonderful things in life, right? I'm working on that for everybody.
That's
But
good.
you're going to have to be patient in order to achieve what you're talking about. So I don't want people to feel like if they've got 5,000 XRP, they're going to be a multi-millionaire tomorrow. I don't know what the short-term price appreciation of this is. When I say short-term, I mean less than a year. So maybe it's, 50, 100, 25, maybe it's $10, right? On this first go. But if you drop your pants and sell your whole bag, your 5,000 at $10 because it's $50,000 and it's more money than you ever had, you're not going to get the 10-year bag. Okay. So
Right.
I just want to make that clear for people.
That's
That's a
good.
good point.
No,
If
that's
you
good.
have a small amount, don't be ashamed of that. You're positioned very well, but you're going to have to be a little bit more patient than some other people that have been able to aggregate more is all I'm saying.
And I think too, we have everyone from 20-year-olds to seniors. And I think it also depends, wouldn't you agree, what your strategy is and what your exit strategy is. If you, let's say, are a senior and you don't quite own your home yet, and you have X amount of XRP and it pays off for your home, as a senior, you might say, that's life-changing wealth to me if I can pay off my home in full. I don't know if I have 10 years, but I know my life would change if I didn't have a mortgage. And so you say it's important to have your strategy in place, your plan. Let's say you are in debt and you want to pay off your debt before it pumps in 5 years, 10 years. That would change your life as well, right? And then you can dollar cost average. So it depends on what your circumstance is, but certainly don't despise small beginnings.
100%. Yeah. And everybody's situation is different and their quality of life and the shift in that will be different based on the debt that they alleviate for themselves. So, I talk about that often, is it the right thing to do to pay off your home? Well, if it's at 2.5% interest rate and you got in the last couple of years and it's a 30-year fixed mortgage, it doesn't make a whole lot of logical sense just from the money side to pay it off. But if you're closer to the end of your life and that payment weighs on you every month, yeah, your quality of life is going to improve and it might make sense for you to pay it off, right? Who am I to tell you one way or the other? It's you to decide what's going to be best in your life. And so to your point, you should come up with your plan, have a conversation with your financial advisor or wealth manager, obviously, so that they can lay out the different things that might affect that you may not be aware of. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your choice on things. And so you have to do what's best for you and your family.
That's good. That's good. You also spoke a little bit with David about the lottery winnings, and I had done a little Google research to see, because that really touched me, because there's a lot of people in this space who have been hard workers their whole life, or they came from, hardworking parents, and they're wanting life-changing wealth, and they are going to see that very shortly, especially probably after the SEC lawsuit's done. And I just... our belief, we're fingers crossed,
We hope
prayers.
so. Yeah.
From our lips to God's ears, please bless this XRP. Not financial advice, just a prayer. I wanted to talk about why people who get cash suddenly go broke. And I just looked it up, and I think one thing that you can speak to is the mindset that we have. We want instant gratification. I just wrote down a few points why people go broke so quick. And it's because, one, they manage their new financial situation on their own. They think, oh, I can handle it. I know what to do. And I think in this segment, we've really talked about, if you want to be with the big boys, you want to have money and you want it to continue on. If you just want to go get your Lambo and call it a day, you probably won't even have enough to pay for the insurance on it, and you'll probably lose it anyway. So I think people have the mindset that they can handle it. I can handle this. I know what to do. But if you did not grow up with money, if you did not grow up with financial strategy, wouldn't you say that it's vital to take some of the money that you earn and get some wisdom on it? And don't be a fool. And I'm going to use that word You know, honestly, don't be a fool thinking that you know how to handle it when you've never had $100,000 before. You've never had $50,000 before. You may even have $1 million, whatever it is. You need to not be foolish and think, oh, well, I don't want to waste my money on that, because there's a lot of education to be learned for people so that they can actually continue in their wealth. And one point I want to speak to that is I heard you say one time in an interview that you getting education, that is a write-off on your taxes. Could you explain a little bit on this one section, and I'll move to the next one?
100%. So I'm resonating deeply with everything you said there. Yeah. So anything that's going to be continuing education around your business is a write-off. So if you go to a conference, if you have a newspaper, if you're part of a newsletter, anything that you use to improve your business acumen in the area of your interest or that you do business in is completely, you can write it off. So my wife always, I have 2 rules around money. One is I don't spend it if I can't write it off. And 2, if it doesn't make me more money, I don't buy it.
So can the average Joe write it off? So let's say you've got a person who's working at the grocery store and they sign up for a newsletter. They can't write that off. They have to have a business, a legal structure, meaning they could, though, take that money, take some money, get an LLC, and then they can take that and take a course, or take your course, David's course, whomever's courses, and use that as a write-off to lower their income, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's really important, because I don't think sometimes people understand that you need to be in a business, guys. If you don't have a business, get a business, get an LLC. Isn't that what you're saying basically is?
Yes, it makes a big difference in your ability to mitigate taxes if you have a business versus just being an individual. And it doesn't have to produce a whole lot of income. And just, you have to do something that provides value to other people, whether you charge for it or not.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, that's good. That's good. The other thing that I was reading about lotto winners, or people who get rich suddenly, who didn't have it yesterday, but they have it now or next week, is that one of the mistakes they make is telling their family and friends. And I know at the conference you mentioned that, and it just kind of, you know, because you get so excited and you're like, oh my gosh, and you want to share your excitement, but sometimes tell why that can be detrimental to sharing with people.
And I've been very transparent about this. I've told more than 2,000 people over the last 3 years. I had lots of conversations with individuals, and some took me seriously and some didn't. Right. But they're going to know on the other side of it, it's a publicly traded thing. Right. So when they see the price appreciation, whatever that may go to, they're going to be like, oh, I remember Jake told me about that. He must be doing pretty good. Right. So, and what the way that I structure that for the family office, and I think is a benefit for this conversation, is if you have professionals that you're going to be using, right? You've got a financial committee that you set up. When those individuals come to you and they ask for the money, because they're inevitably going to do so, you're going to have family. And I've met with a lot of people that have kept this very hush hush for them, which is kudos, good job. And to your point, don't go running your mouth after you get the money, because people change. You get to really find out who they are, and if they're with you or not. So you can set up the financial committee, and you've got these professionals. Somebody comes to ask you for some money, maybe it's a friend, family, whoever it is. You say, yeah, I would love to help you on your business venture, or give you the money to do that. If you would just put together a business pro forma or a prospectus, you could present it to the financial committee, and if it meets our standards, we would love to invest in and loan you the money.
Right.
That's good.
And then they'll go, oh, well, I just wanted the money. You know, I'm not going to do all that. But then it mitigates the animosity that they might feel toward you. Also, you've got a system and a process, and maybe they do have a really good idea. Maybe they do put together a business plan and it's very lucrative, and you can get in on the seed round of it, right?
Yeah.
So it just puts that barrier between you and the other person. If you have those professionals that you can kind of lean on, and you don't even really have to have it formed yet when you tell people this, but you at least have a system and a process in place. And so it'll give them some pause. And like I said, it's not you telling them no, it's you've put this in place for this reason, and then there's not the animosity that they might have felt otherwise.
That's good. So when people come up and say, show me the money, give me some money, you're crypto rich, you can say, well, we have some plans in place, and we're not just gonna give out the money like that. The other thing I think you touched on before with David is another reason why people fail when they come into a lot of money quickly that they're not used to having is they buy everything. And I think you made that point pretty clear. And I'll just reiterate what you said is, you know, if you're going to spend money, to make sure that it generates money so that you're not spending your seed. You know, as a gardener, anyone, we don't eat our seed. We can't sit there and eat it. You need to plant it and then take the fruit off of it. And then when you get more money, sorry, I keep hitting this, you can, you know, reproduce. Don't eat your seed, basically. So that's a good point, I think, that you said. And the other one is a lot of times lottery winners miss out because they don't pay off their debt. And can you just speak to that a little bit about if you are in debt and XRP does pump and you have the ability to pay it off, would you suggest?
Or the different types of debt as well.
Yeah, definitely. If you have some credit card debt and it's kind of like a, you know, a thing on your head, what would you say to someone who's in debt and they're hoping to wait down the road to make that big money? But in the meantime, what would you suggest?
I know people that have taken out debt to buy XRP. And I don't recommend that. It's not financial advice, and I'll put the disclaimer in here. Nothing said here is financial advice. Please always consult your financial advisor, your CPA, or attorney before making any tax, legal, or financial decisions. Everything discussed here is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Yes.
So there's multiple kinds of debt, and you can take leverage and debt and use it in a way that is going to produce income for you. And ideally, the interest rate that you're paying on the debt is less than the amount that you're going to earn over here with it, right? So for credit card debt, that's pretty steep. You're looking at sometimes up to 29% interest on the credit card debt, which is crazy, or the payday loans or any of the other crazy stuff that goes on, right? So anything that's at that level, for sure, pay that off. Maybe so, and this is the way debt consolidation works. You'll take out a loan at a lower interest rate to pay off the loans at the higher interest rates. Okay, so you lower your monthly payment, all those things. And you could do that with your assets now, right? If we get the deal done with PolySign, and you can take, you know, and PolySign is just a custodian. We have another bank that'll loan against it, which I'm sure a lot of them will after price appreciation and the lawsuit's over. You'll be able to take loans against it at, you know, 3, 4, 5% interest. And if you've got credit card debt, you could pay that down. And maybe you use the rest of that to buy something else that generates income for you, right? So just be, and again, consult your financial advisor, your wealth manager, your CPA. They're going to know all these things, right? And like you talked about before, don't be scared to pay somebody what they're worth to help you if you don't have the skill set. And that's what this is. It is a skill set that is learned. So your family either taught it to you, or you've got to go out and figure it out, or you've got to partner with people that have it. If you have a lot of, there's only 3 options there, right? So
that's good.
That's what I would speak to on that topic.
Can I enter? I just have a question what's related to what you just asked, Judy, is you had mentioned, I heard you mention in the past something to the effect of, you know, when the wealthy are borrowing and against their assets, you know, normally what we think of is, okay, we take out a loan, a mortgage, whatever, and we make a monthly payment to service that debt. But in certain situations, I've heard you describe in the past where there is no monthly payment, it's just a delayed kind of balloon payment at the end type of deal. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so I work with people to do infinite banking, right? So that concept is a whole life insurance policy that we overfund or pre-fund.
Can anyone do this, Jake, or is this just for business people?
Anybody can do this one.
Okay, guys, so listen up. I want you to hear this because this is really important. I heard what he said before, but I want you to hear it. So all of you qualify, whether you're an investor, whether you're whatever. So go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
I use it with business owners often for 3 reasons. So one, it's a tax write-off for your business. You take out key employee insurance and it's a write-off, right? So let's say you have $100,000 that you don't really want to give the government at the end of the year and you want to write down on your income. So you fund a $500,000 policy with $100,000. So we get the write-off, we get the life insurance policy for your family up to the $500,000, which is great. And then we can take a line of credit against it from Goldman Sachs or Fidelity at like 4%. And those funds will be invested in the stock market. If that's what it's backed by, is the stocks and the allocation that they make with that. It's an indexed whole life. And with that, you don't have any interest. It's just a line of credit. So you can draw it down at any time. It runs up at that low interest rate and you pay it off whenever you pay it off. There's no monthly payment on it. And it would work the same way with whatever loan you would get on your digital assets from similar fiduciaries.
So you could take a loan. You said you could buy stocks. Could you also buy more cryptocurrency with that money?
Or any other asset?
Or any other asset? Or no, it's mostly
You do.
stocks or gold or something.
You can do whatever you want with it. But for the backing, I'm actually working with another insurance company. We can do this with Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're working to do it with XRP, where you can wrap the XRP in a whole life insurance policy, and the value of the whole life insurance policy is the digital asset.
Okay.
So you can take loans against it, and you can borrow the asset out of the policy or cash value against it. And upon your death, those funds get liquidated to the beneficiary tax-free. So that's the other benefit there. So as long as, you know, the loan that you took against it doesn't require all of the collateral to pay it off, then your beneficiaries get to, you know, either you could set up your trust, you know, as the beneficiary or an individual, and either one of those would be taxed upon your death and the transfer of those assets.
So when you're talking about whole life insurance, you're not talking about what if you're a senior and you have diabetes and you're like, I can't qualify for whole life insurance because I'm sick. I have an ongoing disease or sickness. This is separate from what you're talking about.
Correct. Yeah. If you have the collateral, you can do any type of private placement policy. So if you had the stocks, you could wrap the stocks in a whole life insurance policy.
Okay.
But if they're going to issue a policy against you that you're going to have to make payments on, they're probably not going to cover you, or they're going to have riders on the policy that disqualify certain things for coverage.
Okay.
No,
That's really good. That's good. Okay, we talked about that.
My phone is at like 5%. So if I just cut out and die, that's why.
Okay. No worries. No
We're
worries.
just sucking every ounce.
I know. We're almost done. So Jake, one of my questions is, for a new XRP, person who's come into some money. I know you've been talking a lot in this segment about investing and not eating your seed. So how do we find new investment opportunities? How would I know? I'm a secretary in an office. I have some XRP and I don't want to eat my seed, but I don't know where to look. Like, how do I know what's a good thing? You've mentioned a car wash or maybe a laundromat or something, but how do I know what to invest in or where to look at or what would be a good deal or not?
I'm providing a service for that, and that's what the mastermind is, right? So, and I appreciate the soft pitch for this. So yeah, so we find all that for you. We pre-vet deals. We do real estate, it could be commercial, industrial, raw land development, multifamily, residential, which would be wholesale, short sale flips. We have people in there that do all those things. And then we do private equity investment. We also do business M&A transactions within the mastermind. So find people that are good at those things if you don't know about them and partner with them.
Mhm.
Make sure that you vet them and they have a good track record. They've got proven returns, all those things, and they're out there. And again, this is, goes back to the professionals, right? If you don't know about something, you'll have the money to be able to pay somebody that does, right?
That's good.
And they're worth that money. They have spent a decade or more in their niche and they understand it. They have a proven track record. So I would go find those people and park your money with them and pay them what they're worth, and then you make a return as well.
That's good. And so I'm going to do a pitch for Jake. I would definitely do that. I think his mastermind course is a monthly payment. And I think if you guys cut out some Starbucks between now and the end of next month, just to try to get in to meet with him and to learn all that he has to glean, I think that would be really important because you want to be able to enjoy your money. You want to be able to continue having that wealth. You don't want to, just pop in and pop out and just not be able to do it. You want to be able to do it. Yes.
Jake, how do people get a hold of you? Would be the
Yeah, so we have two websites. I've got digitalfamilyoffice.io, which you can visit and book a time with me. We can sit down and, I'm happy to run through your specific situation and give you the resources necessary to set yourself up prior to the liquidity event. And then we also have mastermind.beyondbroke.com, which is for the mastermind members. We have a couple of different levels of membership there. We offer a private investment opportunities through the mastermind, just like I spoke about before when you asked me, where would you go for those types of things? And that's separate of the family office, but obviously they both kind of overlap. So, or you can just email me. My email is jake@digitalfamilyoffice.io.
That's great. And as we start to wrap up, Jake, I want to say, so what, I know you don't have a crystal ball, David and I don't have a crystal ball, but what would you say we can look forward to once the SEC lawsuit is settled? Do you think that the price will go up once the SEC lawsuit is done? Or do you think the IPO will happen and then XRP will follow like a tail? Or do you feel like XRP, it'll shoot up together? Like, what do you think will happen once this, it's a speculation. It's just, I know our listeners want to hear it. So
I give you my best guess, and that's what it is. It's just speculation and a guess, right?
Right.
So, not financial advice again. I'm on the conservative side in the next few months with the settlement of the lawsuit. If we got forward guidance from summary judgment on the asset, I think you could see institutions step in and drive volume on the secondary market. Maybe we see, $7, $13, $25, $50 would be kind of crazy. And then later in the year, or maybe early next year, if we saw implementation of the asset for CBDCs, cross-border payments, and some of the other pieces of the financial system, that's when you could see the crazy numbers that Jimmy talks about, right? So 3, 4, 5 digits. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know the time frame, but that's kind of my logical conclusion is we see summary judgment on forward sales of the asset since 2018. We have all these people that have stayed out of this asset because it's been kind of up in the air. They all pile in at one time. We don't have that many exchanges that sell it. We got Uphold and BitTrue, right? Maybe Coinbase relists, maybe a few other relist after the lawsuit's over. But what if they're being sued by Gary and they can't list new things, right? So you've got a very siloed segment of the market that can even sell this asset, and everybody's got to go through that secondary market corridor. I think the price could, your guess is as good as mine in the short term for like two digits. But that's kind of my synopsis of the situation.
Good. And I just want to go back one other thing before we close. We were talking about Caleb and Brown. And I know David on his channel really encourages our viewers to sign up with Caleb and Brown because you can buy and sell your assets. And I know a lot of our listeners have probably seen that it's like a traffic jam. When the price pumps, you can't get out. And when the price dumps and you're trying to get in, you can't get in. It's like a pipe and it's a clog because everyone's doing it. So just we'll plug Caleb and Brown since we're both very pro and we are part of Caleb and Brown in the sense that we use them personally. Just tell our viewers why you think Caleb and Brown would be a good thing to sign up. And we do have a link at the bottom of our website or on our show that gives a discount if you guys are interested. But why do you think they should do that prior to the big pump?
So if you set up an LLC, it's going to take a couple days for them to get your account set up. When we saw the run up in 2017, a lot of people tried to pile in as things were going up, didn't have accounts, couldn't get approved, all that stuff, having friends buy for them. And then when you see significant price appreciation on assets, exchanges go down because of the volume, right? Yeah. So it's fantastic to have a broker and an option where you can send your assets and they will go source liquidity for you. They charge a bit more on the premium for that, but you don't have to worry about things, right? You know that transaction is going to go through at the price point that you asked them to do for your broker. And they have somebody that you can call on the phone and have a conversation with. That's the other piece that I enjoy. It's not just this, I deal with my computer. I've got somebody I can call and tell them what to execute and how. And then also there's the point where, you're kind of limited at the amount that you can remove from exchanges on a weekly basis. So Coinbase is 100,000, Uphold is 75,000, and that sounds like a great weekly paycheck. But if you're looking to use, you're going to liquidate $1 million and you're going to move on a property or you're going to move on a business and take advantage of an opportunity, you're looking at 13 or 14 weeks on Uphold to be able to get your money for $1 million. Okay, you're not moving fast on nothing, right? But if you have Caleb and Brown, then wire it to your account next day. And so
your bank account, it wires right to your bank account. That's good. And so, I encourage all of you to listen to Jake's advice and David's as well, because that's a really good thing. Well, Jake, this has been like
Yeah,
fantastic. And I
Really
just,
appreciate it.
we really appreciate it. I think you answered a lot of our questions and you help both the business owner and the average person. And your wealth is phenomenal. And we look forward to meeting with you and talking more with you. And we really appreciate your time. You're just a wealth of information and
a
we value, yeah.
added Asset to this.
Yeah,
ecosystem
you're a
and
blessing
community.
to us for
Yeah.
sure. We're a very big blessing.
Yeah.
So remember, guys, if you own XRP, you're already rich. Quote that from Jake Claver.
All right.
Thanks,
Perfect.
Jake.
Yeah, I really.
Thank y'all.
Okay,
welcome.
take care. Bye-bye.
So guys, as you can tell, there is lots of exciting things happening in this space. And I'll tell you what, one of the best decisions that Judy and I made in that last bull run was getting our plan in place. And what our coaching program offers, that is where you and I can meet personally one-on-one for 1 hour over Zoom. And during that time, I share with you our personal journey in that last bull run and what enabled Judy and I to experience some amazing financial success. I share with you the mistakes we made so that you don't have to fall into the same pitfalls we did. We take a look at your portfolio and make sure that it's balanced towards your goals, and we work together to develop your exit strategy. We can even get your assets off an exchange and onto a hardware wallet, along with delivering to you some amazing techniques that are really going to help you in this space. Now, the cost of that is $250, and if that's something that interests you, you write me right there at coaching@thedigitaloutlook.com and we'll get you all booked in. So guys, this is the video that we have for you today, and as always, we truly hope that you enjoyed it. Now, many of you know we're not financial advisors, and this isn't financial advice, but if you found value in it, if you'd hit that like and subscribe, we'd appreciate it. And hey, don't forget to drop your comments right down there in the comment section and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our regularly released videos. So, in the meantime, and in between time, stay safe, be blessed, and I'll catch you in the next one.